What is going on? Coach Ben here. I'm just outside getting in some steps real quick. No, this doesn't count as cardio. I just want to get in some movement because it's a nice day here in Tampa, Florida. And it's always good to get outside, right? So I want to talk about deload weeks. Currently in a deload week myself right now. Like, when do we need to do them? How should you train during a deload? All that sort of thing. So you need to do a deload when performance suffers in the gym. Okay, so if you find that things are stagnant, you're even regressing on like your compound lifts, that sort of thing, that could be a time to do a deload. Now that doesn't mean you train for 1 to 2 weeks and then you have an off day where you stayed up late or something, like, oh, I'm tired, I'm gonna do a deload. No, like, you need to be really like built up, like you got a lot of fatigue accumulated, if you will, and your body just needs a little bit of a break. Okay, so that's one reason. Maybe you've been doing a training plan for 8 to 20 weeks, big variance, but it's going to vary from person to person. Like, if you've been going to the gym for 15 years, lifting consistently, you're going to need to deload often because you're probably really strong. If you've only been training for 3 months, you don't need to deload as often, but periodically you're going to need it. Okay, so if you're regressing in the gym, stagnant, that could be a reason for a deload. Maybe if you're tired constantly, like let's say you're just tired, fatigued, and you can't sleep at night. Hey, that's that combination is a nasty duo, and that could be a reason to need a deload. Don't confuse this for a caffeine withdrawal. You might just need a little bit less caffeine, right? So that's one reason. Nagging injuries, this is a huge one. If you get little tweaks, little injuries that just don't seem to go away. I'm gonna go this way. Little injuries that don't seem to go away, like your shoulder hurts when you're doing leg extensions. You're like, what the heck? Why does everything hurt? Hey, you might just have a lot of, might be just beat up a little bit. You might just need that deload, right? Can't feel the muscle you're trying to work. Like, your rep quality sucks and you're like, man, I just can't feel the muscle I'm working. I'm doing lat pull downs and I feel it in my tricep. I can't feel my back. Like, what's going on? Hey, you things just might be a little stale. You might just need to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. Okay. So those are some reasons to do a deload. And are they mandatory all the time? Like, do you need to do them every 12 weeks or something? No. Okay. It's just periodically. Now, a lot of times with my clients, if you work with me, you know how I structure my training, but a lot of times we'll do a deload week every 8 weeks, but that deload is a really like high intensity week where we're actually testing some of our compound lifts to see how strength is progressing. You might be like, Ben, how is that count as a deload? Like, well, volume is significantly lower. Like, if we're training 5 days a week in the gym, maybe we're just training 3 days. Volume is much lower. Like, for myself, during a deload week, it's either going to be one of those high intensity weeks where volume is low and doing a lot of tested lifts, or it's another week where it's just I do a few compound lifts. Okay, so kind of leads into the topic of how to actually structure a deload. A few compound lifts, nothing to failure, and each set should be hard-ish. Okay, so nothing to absolute failure. 3 RIR max intensity. You can even go a lot less. I mean, I know some people like to do like percentages. Oh, you want to do like 75% of the way you usually use for reps. I just take the simpler approach and just kind of do your best guess, right? Like, so for example, today for my main leg movement, it was stiff deadlifts, and instead of doing 270 for 3 sets of 6, which is what I did last week, at about an RPE 10, like it was about everything I had to do those sets, I did 225 for 3 sets of 6. Like, I don't even know what percentage that was. It was just more like it was kind of hard, but I focused on perfect reps, perfect form, and I didn't drive myself into the ground, and I got through the workout fast, right? It's usually 3 exercises, compound in nature, so where we're working multiple muscles at a time. Nothing to failure. Drop the isolation stuff for a week. I usually like to drop hip hinging work from the protocol in the deload week, just because things like deadlifts are pretty demanding on the CNS. But again, I kept the weight a lot lower. So you could sub out deadlifts for things like lat pull downs and pull ups on a deload week. That's totally fine. compound lifts, nothing to failure, and you'll be good to go. So let me know your thoughts. Further questions, you know what to do, reach out. And if you would like to work with me for, you know, your own structured training routine, I'm an online fitness coach with Pro Physique, right? I've worked with countless folks to design a program that makes sense for you, right? So that we can customize a plan that could get you to your goals. And if you live in the Tampa, Florida area, specifically Lutz, Land O'Lakes area, I offer in-person personal training. My business, Benjamin Berluti Fitness LLC, operates out of Sky Athletics Gym in Lutz. So if you're in that greater Tampa area, hey, reach out. We can work one-on-one in the gym to help you get you to your goals. So those are my thoughts on deloading. A little bit of a long video here today, but wanted to dive into all those topics. All right, take care.